Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Go crazy at Bob Walker. Go nuts.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Your Razorbacks are 2021 SEC champions. And Bob Walker Stadium is an insane asylum.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Oh, Tuesday on Halftime. So good to be with you. And I feel like my day's already started today. It already did. I mean, you wake up and you've got a lot to do. Day doesn't start with the radio show, but the day seems to start with a cup of coffee and some prep. Phil Elson here, Drew Barrett, Matty T, 877-377-6963. I would say I begin prepping for the show at about 7 in the morning.
About what time I saw you pop up.
Yeah. You saw me pop up?
Yeah, because when we type in the stuff on our Google Doc, it shows that you are also editing.
So, but I mean, it takes a while for the brain waves to really get moving. They tell you that it takes 5 minutes for the caffeine to actually start activating your system once you drink it. I can feel the energy coursing the moment I swallow, but I would say it takes a little bit for the brain waves to really start going and to start thinking even creatively. So as I started just perusing through some of these sites and looking on our rundown, I got a text from our good friend, Ty Richardson.
Good friend? Is that a little bit of a stretch?
No, I've known Ty for
good acquaintance, but friend?
I think you and he are acquaintances right now. You'll get to know each other much better because you're forced to share space together there at the ESPN Arkansas headquarters, Drew. But I've known Ty for almost 3 years. I think he and I are good friends. I'll go with that. But I would also say, like, a good friend might not ask me to just, all of a sudden, 30 minutes before it happens, pop on the radio and be ready for something that was just described as fun. Because fun is a very broad term, Drew. Fun can go in a lot of directions. And I wondered what direction this was going in this morning. Because it's so funny when it comes to sports talk that focuses on college sports. We will call it, as we've referred to jokingly, Rushmore season, bracket season, whatever it is you want to call it.
All of them.
It's essentially just lingo for non-football season. Or, when you're dealing with a fan base like Arkansas and around the SEC that does pay attention to college baseball too, it's just non-college sports season. There's plenty going on right now. Baseball, NBA, NHL, just depends on where it is you live. We do have the Olympics coming up soon, too. And Ty had the idea. If you listen to the Morning Rush this morning, Ty has the idea of essentially like pitting the shows against each other, more so than they ever have been before, because now we're on, what is this? It's going to go for 2 weeks until next Friday. He's calling it, what did he call it? Is this the ESPN Arkansas Olympics?
I guess that's what it is, but I mean, there's no actual physical event. I mean, I feel like me being a spry young 26, maybe a tad overweight with a Budweiser gut, but still has something to offer in the physical department. And you, sir, you look like a pretty good for your age. And
well, I thought
be a spring chicken.
When you're talking about Olympics, you're talking about feats of strength, actual competitions, not Festivus, but races, games, not a popularity contest, which I think is what we've been dragged into here, which I'm all for. Let's see.
As long as we win, I'm all for it.
Well, and I've got some thoughts on reasons that we unfortunately, Drew, we already have like 2 feet out of the batter's box before the pitch is thrown, but it's okay. It is okay. We are asking, who is your favorite show on ESPN Arkansas? And we're going for all of the local shows that are on our network, which does knock out some of the other shows, either that are local or that are national, where we're talking about Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach. So we need to know.
So far, we're losing.
We are losing pretty badly.
I expect us to lose. I'll just throw that out there because we already have some competitive disadvantages. how to put it this way. Our Olympic committee is not quite as well funded as the others when it comes down to it.
That's true.
We have a 2-hour show competing against one show that goes 3 hours and another that goes 4 hours, the 3 and then the first hour repeated. And just the fact that you're in the middle of the day from 11 to 1, which I love as our time slot, is you just have fewer listeners based upon
people are at work.
Facts.
But even somebody that I know listens because he contributes often is BE, and he still voted for the show after.
He did, and
he did.
I texted
that kind of
BE.
hurts, doesn't it?
I texted him that it really did hurt me because I remember when I first started here, long time ago, 2 weeks. BE was so welcoming and so nice and gave me such great compliments after the first week and after the first couple of days. I thought, man, I love this BE guy. He's definitely my favorite listener at this point. And then, you know what? I feel like there's a knife in my back. I really, truly was hurt.
He bared his fangs for you right then.
He really did.
He really is the knife. Part of this is all just opinion, and I've always said sometimes there are opinions that are wrong and opinions that are right. There is no wrong and right in this. Bring it. The only thing of the matter is that there's actually not money that's on the line, but there's like Ty actually thought any of us would want to watch him eat a steak. He asked us. He said, "Well, the two losers, as he would put it, which would mean that you finished second or third. I guess losers. If you're not first, you're a loser, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you ain't first, you're last. The two non-first finishing teams or shows, we are teams too, had to either buy the winning show a steak dinner or a bunch of drinks. And I'm not watching Ty eat steak because it's well done and with ketchup at that moment, and I just don't want to do that to myself.
Is that actually true? Does he actually eat steak well done? I thought that was just another joke, a gag on Ty, but if that's a real thing,
oh yeah,
I don't know if I could ever properly eat a meal with a person that does that or ever take any type of culinary food advice from them.
Don't. And then the other thing about Ty, too, and you'll realize this, every single meal is photographed and tweeted.
I have seen that. Phone eats first. Hashtag phone eats first. I've seen it.
But I appreciate the ideas that he came up with, and so we'll run with it. It's going for a couple of weeks. We don't even know what we're calling this. Is this the Text Olympics? Is this bracket season champions? Or can we just call this what this is? A highly scientific popularity contest.
That's pretty much what it is.
ESPN Arkansas that's being conducted through our text machine and Twitter, I guess.
Well, I'm
just text messages.
Also YouTube, because Wendell Powell on YouTube just voted us his favorite show.
Well, and there's Facebook as well.
You're going to have to get that through Ty because I tried to take a vote from Twitter.
I'm adding it to the official list myself.
All right.
Look, Not every look, there are plenty of people that have Twitter accounts that also have rotary phones at home and no ability to send a text. So you got to open it up to everybody. 877-377-6963 or hit that line on the twits. We got your Facebook, we got your YouTube, every other way. And yes, we are prepared to buy your vote. So we'll take your offers as well.
I've already made a deal for one already.
Doug in Fayetteville, you're on the list now.
Which list exactly are you talking about? Because we could keep various lists here based upon the text that we're getting.
Depending on their vote.
The list of guys that voted for us.
That's right.
Which also, you don't have to be a guy; you could be a girl too. We'll take all the female listeners we can take.
Of course,
it's
because also, I think we have the best sex appeal among any show up here.
The most sexual energy on the radio.
Glad he figured that out after a week and 2 days hosting with us here. This is definitely the sexiest of the three shows on ESPN Arkansas, no doubt about that. All right, so this reminds me of like running for school office, Like, did you run for? I ran for. This would have been senior year director or vice president. If you get very official names, vice president of public relations. Little did I realize that later on in life I would be doing PR for real, and I won just based upon being able to write a really good vote and playing on the baseball team and having roles in the school play too. Like that's all what that is. It's just popularity.
It's popularity, yeah.
Is that what this is too, or is this just a matter of luck for your time slot, the amount of dedication you engender from your listeners? Which, by the way, I will say, I think Ruskin and Zach probably have the most dedicated listeners because they're the most different of the rest of us. And we'll put that out there.
Well, so now that I'm counting our votes, does that mean that, like, the guy in the 479 number, he says Ruskin and Zach, I have to count their votes too?
Yes,
like,
that's what I don't understand.
I just want to count our votes.
You have to be good little soldiers and count everybody's votes. Can't just pick and choose, Maddie.
Here it was. I thought we were done with, like, controversies and vote counting for crying out loud, and now we got to do this all over again in the summer. 877-377-6963. Lots to get to. It will involve sports. This is not just about our own ego. Kiley McDaniel from ESPN joins us bottom of this hour. He is ESPN's top Major League Baseball draft expert. We'll get into a lot of the ways that could affect Arkansas baseball and some other changes in the draft, and what he thinks about how the sticky stuff that's being banned across the professional ranks might involve pitchers coming in from the draft. And David Cobb talking college basketball, hour number 2. Halftime, we love you.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Wheels RV in Springdale wants you to seek out all the Natural State has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels RV was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. 5 miles west of I-49, exit 72. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
I'm Dr. Sarah Bone, a pediatrician with Arkansas Pediatric Clinic. The COVID-19 vaccine is now authorized for use in children ages 12 and up. The vaccine has been well studied, it's safe and effective. Even young and healthy people can get COVID and spread it to others. Getting vaccinated is vital to keep you and your family safe. This is our best shot to return to normal and protect the ones we love.
Learn more at healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
Live music is back on the patio at Joe's Grill and Cantina every Tuesday and Saturday night. Grab your favorite drink and sit on the patio and enjoy your favorite tunes. And don't forget brunch every Saturday starting at 10:45 at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Different brunch specials and your favorite brunch cocktails. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Live music, Taco Tuesday, daily specials, and brunch on Saturdays. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Yeah! For the first time, it's going down history, baby. New 3-6 Mafia, featuring 8-Ball and MJG, Young Buck. It's a Tennessee thing. We gotta stay. Till I die.
And UConn has their first bucket. Hogs look to Dungy again. Williams guarding her past the line. Into the corner, Amber Ramirez. Open three goes down the hole. And it's 8-2 Arkansas.
We talked earlier about how Arkansas needs to do everything right. Offensively, they're doing just that in this first minute and a half.
Now Arkansas can grab the lead. Daniels with a left-hand dribble through the lane. On the left hand, hands off Ramirez. Catch and shoot three. Yes! Amber Ramirez has been a dagger today. 19 for Ramirez. And the Razorbacks back on top, 82-79.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
The votes are coming in. They are being tabulated. We're not going to tell you what the scoreboard looks like now. I guess after the first few hours of this, we got to wait a while. We're taking it till next Friday, for crying out loud. So, I mean, this is going to be a long time. People already want to change their vote.
You can't do that, no. Once it's in there,
once it's locked in.
Yeah.
That's just too much work for us.
Yeah.
It's written in the Constitution, Austin and Ozark. You cannot change your vote. Sorry about that. You can also not change the fact that the Vanderbilt Commodores are one win away from a national championship. Whether it will involve an asterisk or not, and it probably won't in the NCAA record books, but certainly in a lot of people's eyes, it will. I get it. I don't think anything is given to anybody. I will say NC State was not a guarantee NC State would have beaten Vanderbilt on Saturday.
There isn't.
Never was. Never was. So, and I'm not going to tell you that Vanderbilt earned their way into the finals, but they're there, and right now fighting about it back and forth doesn't really do very much. It feels to me that the administration at North Carolina State is I don't know if I want to use the word acceptance here, because the more that you learn about the complete lack of communication and I guess understanding by the NCAA that late Friday night into early Saturday morning, the more you can understand. I mean, aside from the fact that NC State has a dream wiped away, that they're completely upset with the way the NCAA went about this decision. But I mean, I do hear things coming from the NC State administration that makes me think that they are accepting of the decision. Maybe not the way it went down, but accepting of it. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, Boo Corrigan, who's the NC State athletic director, and Randy Woodson, who's the chancellor at NC State, spoke at length about A, the baseball season, B, the admiration they have for those 13 players that they will call the Pac-13 until the end of time, and then about what happened over the course of the week. And I think this, it's an almost 10-minute interview that they had. For me, though, this moment here from the chancellor, from Randy Woodson, says to me that they're in acceptance mode. They don't have to like it, but it is something that they've accepted, the reasons why.
We understood.
Yes.
We all know that when we have 8 positive test results on a team of this size that are all traveling together, all living together, eating together, that it's going to be, we know what the results are going to be. But there's a lot about the communication, broadly defined throughout this time, between the NCAA staff and our professional staff that we have some questions about, and we certainly will seek to get more clarification.
Chancellor Woodson also went on to confirm that the 8 positive tests were from that Delta variant, which has kind of become now the dominant strain of COVID across the country and is more transmissible. So that also might be a reason why the vaccinated players did end up getting the virus. But you can hear from his voice, this is like a resigned acceptance of what's happened. You don't have to like it, but it happened. And the way that the Chancellor Woodson puts it forth, it seems to me he's understanding of why NC State was removed from the College World Series.
It does seem that he's understanding and he's disappointed about it. And I don't want anybody, to, and I feel like it's going to be used a lot in the next coming weeks as far as among anti-vaxxers or people who want to prove that the vaccine doesn't work. And the vaccine still works. They never marketed it as 100% cure-all. It was marketed as something that helps protect you from contracting COVID-19. It had about depending on which version you got, somewhere between an 85 to 95% chance of working and protecting you against the COVID-19. But with the new variant, that sets a lot of other things into motion of how the vaccine could hypothetically not work just due to the fact that you got a vaccine for a different variant. It's just like you get a flu shot every year, and those are only about 45 to 50% protective and helpful. So it shouldn't be viewed as the vaccine doesn't work. It's just bad luck that it happened to get the wrong variant. And, you see what Austin Murr from NC State put out on his Twitter yesterday, basically saying that Anthony Holman of the NCAA was committing HIPAA violations by filming them. And it kind of feels different. Like, Chancellor seems understandable, while Murr is possibly, and if Holman did that, that is obviously terrible and you shouldn't be doing it, but also blaming this situation and kind of diverting from the fact that there were positive tests. I feel like. I
think Murr is feeding the conspiracy theory a little bit, and unfortunately I might have helped a little, in a tiny little way when I tweet on Saturday using the word sketchy, where really the word sketchy I don't think is the one to throw around. It's the word absurd, with the optics that went around with the full stadium and still bragging about the attendance yesterday, with the idea of being cautious with the players.
It's two-faced is what it is.
It is. And the other thing about this too, you have 8 positive tests coming from healthy young men, and all this occurs to me in a backdrop where do we realize Heston Kjerstad still has not even suited up in an Orioles minor league uniform yet because of heart inflammation that is probably due to contracting COVID? This is one of Arkansas's most celebrated athletes in the last 10 years, even further back, the 2nd overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. Drew, I know, somebody I've been very excited to see. We're all excited to see what Heston would do his first year in professional baseball, and obviously had last year ripped out of his hands and hasn't even been able to get on the field yet. He was shut down again 2 weeks ago. This is the second shutdown for Heston Kjerstad because of myocarditis in the last 4 months. This is something that can occur because of COVID to an extremely healthy young athlete. So I do also understand the caution that the NCAA took by removing NC State from the College World Series. I hate that it happened, but it happened, and you know what? I also hate that Vanderbilt is so close to what we will all view as a national championship that has an if. That has a little bit of a taint to it. There's so much aspects to this too, not just that they were moved ahead into the finals, but of course you get extra rest for your real ace. I think Leiter, who looked the part of the ace yesterday, might not have looked the part of the ace if he had to pitch on 3 days. Well, he would have pitched on 3 days rest if that second NC State game took place. That extra day of rest really does help out a lot, and I think you saw that on display yesterday. The other thing you saw on display yesterday is that Mississippi State was killed by their own starting pitcher, Christian McLeod, who's got an ERA of over 20 now in the NCAA tournament. And they have a great bullpen. The starting pitching for Mississippi State, right now their best starter is Will Bednar. He's not really available for this series. Not at all.
And that's not good.
They need Houston Harding to get out there and shove today. Either that or they got to find a way to get the bats going against – and I know Vandy hasn't announced a starting pitcher, but my guess is it's going to be that big freshman who looks just like Kumar Rocker. I mean, just like him, and wears number 42 and is a really talented kid. And for me, it's just like I feel like they probably could get on top of Christian Little a little bit. That's the Vandy freshman I'm talking about, and force a third game in which Vandy probably has Kumar Rocker ready to go. And Mississippi State will kind of be searching for a third starting pitcher.
They are, and that's the problem. And while I think it ultimately shows what happened last night, how invaluable a guy like Kevin Cobb is, a guy that can come in and pitch 7-8 innings out of the bullpen and save you when your starter's not going right. Now, obviously, they were able to get it back on track. The Smiths through, I think, 4 no-hit innings between the two of them, were able to get the bullpen back. But if you start off that bad, it's very hard to climb out of a hole, a five-run hole.
Drew, we saw throughout the Razorback baseball season they'd have to dig out sometimes of a 3 or 4 run hole in the first couple of 7 runs in the first inning is a whole different animal, and that happened really quickly for Vanderbilt. They had 5 hits, 4 of them in the first inning. That's it. That was the game, the first inning. All right, Kiley McDaniel joins us next from ESPN, digging into the Major League Baseball draft, which is in a couple of weeks. Stay with us.
You and almonds versus the nefarious headphone tangle. Suddenly the feeling strikes, the urge to groove and move. But those trusty earbuds are in the tangle of all tangles. You dive in following the headphone jack into a white wire nightmare. But with a little finger gymnastics, all's right with the world. Woohoo! Also, your headphones are untangled. We're not saying it's thanks to the 6 grams of energy-giving protein in almonds, but we're not saying it's not either. California almonds. Own your everyday, every day.
It's time for the largest music festival in the River Valley, the Peacemaker Music Festival, featuring Cody Johnson, Paul Cauthen, Muscadine Bloodline, Colby Cooper, and many more. The Peacemaker Music Festival, July 30th and 31st. For tickets and more info, visit peacemakerfest.com. Let's do this, Peacemakers!
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With a dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Now that's a dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's.
At your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City!
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down.
Franks to throw. One to go deep. He's got a man wide open at the 35. Complete. That's Burks. Inside the 20. Inside the 10. Burks is going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas. 65 yards. Traylon Burks with the touchdown reception, his 6th of the year.
Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
The Major League Baseball draft is coming up in about 2 weeks, July 11th through the 13th, being held in Denver, in conjunction with the All-Star game around Coors Field. And Kiley McDaniel joining us right now. He is draft expert #1 at ESPN, former employee at 4 teams in the front office in Major League Baseball, guy that really knows his stuff and has joined us a few times. Kiley, when we talked a year ago, draft was the only thing happening in baseball. Nobody was playing. No majors, no minors, no college. I don't think there was any youth baseball going on at that time. So the only thing you could talk about was the draft. It's a lot nicer to have the games this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually, because they moved the draft back this year, there's like the typical beginning of the sort of summer showcase season for high school and college guys for next year's draft. Typically started right after the draft happened, but a lot of those things stayed on the same date. So I'm trying to balance getting ready for the draft in a couple weeks, and I'm going to go out and see some high school guys tomorrow that are playing around my house in Atlanta, getting ready for guys a year from now. Which is actually going to be a dramatically better draft. So I'm excited to go see those guys, but it's kind of difficult for a month there having to juggle both of them. But to your point, it's better to do both than to do nothing.
You sound like the college baseball head coaches right now, Kiley, sort of lamenting the spot that Major League Baseball placed the draft this year, because it's put them in a position where they're really not sure in a job in an industry where you're really never quite sure who's going to show up in your incoming class because of the draft. This year, maybe more so than ever before.
Yeah, it reminds me of that joke in college football when they interviewed Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban from the national championship game. They're like, yeah, it's all great. We might win the whole thing, but like I lost 3 weeks of recruiting. I'm going to be behind.
That's exactly right. That is exactly the way that they're looking at it. So I also ask you, like last year, you had a 5-round draft. So it was, I don't remember the percentage, but it must have been, I think it was near 100% of the players that were drafted signed a contract, because no one's going to risk a draft choice anymore when there used to be 40 and then they had only 5. There's 20 rounds right now. I don't know if that's the number of rounds you'll have in the foreseeable future, but is it also the thought that, if somebody gets drafted out of high school, then they're going to sign the contract?
In the top 10 rounds, yes. In this most recent iteration of the CBA and the sort of draft rules, the way it's set up is you have a draft pool for your first 10 picks, and if you don't sign the guy, you lose that pool, and teams are sort of lining up everybody to be like I can tell you from sitting in draft rooms, like when we were the Braves the last couple drafts, it was like we're going to spend all of our money in the first 4 or 5 picks, and then we're going to have the minimum allowable bonus, $1,000, for our last couple picks in the 9th and 10th rounds. Like it was calculated to within $1. And so you can't do that. If you're like, if the 6th rounder doesn't sign, we lose, $300,000 of pool money, and we'll figure it out. Like that's not the way it works when you have a hard slotting like this. So yeah, there's always gonna be a couple guys that like fail a physical or they end up changing their mind or whatever. But it's like no more than 5 or 6 guys usually in the top 10 rounds. Like if they go, they're almost certainly signing, and they definitely have a number agreed to, whether one of them reneges on it or not.
Yeah, Kiley, it's always hard for college coaches to really figure out what they've got now, especially that it's bounced back. And you've got, I believe, 5 incoming Arkansas freshmen. And basically, from what you said, Dave Van Horn and Razorback fans probably shouldn't really expect them to be making their way to Fayetteville anytime soon. But out of the guys that Arkansas had originally signed, who do you think has the best MLB potential?
Ooh, now you caught me off guard here. I don't have the list of
I'm sorry.
That one handy?
I think the highest one you have ranked is Max Muncy, the shortstop out of California. Is he probably the highest grade?
Yeah, I think he now the sort of buzz is growing on him. Like you said, high school shortstop out of Southern California. He's at Thousand Oaks, which is I think won the national championship out of high schools. It seems now likely to go on the first day, which is the first 36 picks. There's sort of a glut from about 20 to 40, maybe 50 overall of a bunch of high school hitters that are hard to sort out. And it sounds like he is sort of graded out well enough that there's a lot of spots that he could land in the 20s, and I would imagine he'll be off the board by 36. And if he somehow makes it to day 2, I would imagine he'll end up going in a spot where he's going to sign.
Mm-hmm. And as far as current Razorback players, Christian Franklin, I think he's the highest guy that you've got ranked. But what about the guy who's set to win the Golden Spikes Award and has basically had his trophy case filled in the last few weeks in Kevin Kopps? Where do you see him getting picked up at?
Yeah, he's an interesting one because he is, I believe, 23 and obviously is not, bumping 99 and is a college reliever. Not that last start notwithstanding, it sort of puts him in a group of players where each of those specific demographics push you down a little further down the board. But he's also one of those guys where if a team is looking to save some money at a pick early, where you get to sort of, there's like a constellation of all the different kinds of seniors or older high school juniors. Obviously, there's a lot of 22-year-old COVID juniors where they're going to sign for lower bonus. If a team is saving money for a high school guy later, they got to save money on an early pick. They're going to go after a 22, 23-year-old college guy, hopefully one that can move quickly, maybe get into the big leagues in a year or two. He could be at the top of that list. I think on pure talent, he's a 4th to 6th rounder for those reasons. Like pure relievers typically don't go much higher than that unless they're throwing 100 and throwing strikes, which is pretty rare these days. But I could see him going as high as the 3rd round if somebody, if a team just needs to get a cost savings because they've moved a high school guy on the board and they just want to sort of get first pick at the guy that could move quickly through the system.
Kiley, so much has been written, and now we're focusing on them, too, because their teams in the College World Series Finals on Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, and rightfully so. It felt for a long time that it was a foregone conclusion that Pittsburgh would take either one of them as the number 1 overall pick. But it's been a couple of months since that thought was prevailing. Is that a matter of them slipping, or these two high school shortstops that you've written about, Marcelo Meyer and Jordan Lawler, are the best available players? Or is it really a matter of what the Pirates need over what's available as the top overall pick?
Yeah, this year is a unique draft relative to, I would say, other sports and also the last few years of the baseball draft, which is we've had, whether it's been Spencer Torkelson out of Arizona State going to the Tigers, Adley Rutschman out of Oregon State going to Baltimore, Casey Mize out of Auburn going to Detroit. It was pretty clear a couple months in advance this guy's very likely to go first, and then about a month to 3 weeks out, it was like, oh, this is 90% chance, or, it became very likely at some point who was going to go first. And then, even the year Bobby Witt Jr. went second, it was pretty understood he would probably go second. And you see this with the baseball and football drafts where, the first couple picks get sort of telegraphed a couple of weeks out at least, if not more. And that's typically how it works with baseball. Now, this year is unique because there is a top tier of, depending on who you ask, 6 to 8 players. None of them are seen as clearly better than the other. And all of them are reasonable candidates at the first pick. Maybe 5 out of the 8 are consensus. You could, contort yourself to say this guy's the best guy. And so in the sort of format of the draft we have where you can't trade picks and every bonus is negotiable, whereas in the other 2 drafts you can trade picks and it's not negotiable. So baseball's sort of unique in that setup. It basically comes down to what the price is because, even just me, if I'm picking, there's 4 or 5 guys you could talk me into if one of them is $1 million cheaper than the other ones. Because then that's $1 million you can spend that your rivals don't have at a later pick. And nobody has set their prices yet because I've talked to the advisors for all the top players and who've spoken to the families, the scouts and executives involved on the team side. None of these conversations have happened yet. Nobody set a price. A couple of the players you've mentioned, I've talked to the family. They're like, yeah, we haven't decided what our number is yet. So it's nobody knows what anybody's demands are, or if we're going to have a Carlos Correa situation where if he doesn't go first, he's going to fall to 6th overall, so he'll take a big haircut to go first. That's the kind of thing that I think will happen at the first pick, and we don't know what the prices are. So it's a lot of sort of guessing at this point with mock drafts and sort of momentum, and is it Meyer, is it Lawler, who are the dark horse options? You have to have things figured out enough to know what your spots are, and we might still be at least a week away from that, and it could be day of the draft stuff. So it's exciting to me that while there's not that generational talent that everybody can do backflips over that might be an all-timer, I think we're going to get to draft day and not know who's going first, second, third, fourth, any of those picks, which usually doesn't happen.
A little more intrigued. That'll be a lot of fun. I wonder, the big controversy across not just Major League Baseball, but pro ball overall right now, of course, is the sticky stuff that's been banned, and it's affected pitchers in a lot of ways. Some of them say, I've had to learn how to pitch again. I don't know if you saw Garrett Richards yesterday. He basically was inventing pitches on the fly. I saw, I don't know if it's a report or a column in Baseball America, some scouts think that a lot of college pitchers have been able to put some substances on the ball. I wonder if you've detected from your conversations with front offices that they might be a little gun shy about drafting certain pitchers with the knowledge that they won't be able to put any substances on the ball, or is that looking too deep into this?
I don't think that's going to change anybody's decision, but I will say that it is. I mean, this is how it happens in baseball, with whether it was steroids or sticky stuff or any number of things where it existed, nobody did anything, nobody said anything, it was not a topic anyone talked about, and then because it wasn't getting enforced, it spun out of control, and then baseball came in with a little too heavy of a hand, a little too late, and sort of mangled it. Like, this feels familiar to baseball fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be a bit of an adjustment, and obviously, similar to steroids, like there was a period in college baseball people don't like to talk about where like some dudes gained 30 pounds of muscle, hit a ton of home runs, and teams were like, I don't know if I'm going to trust this. And everyone just assumed everyone knew what we were talking about. And that doesn't really exist now. So luckily that got drummed out as well. And I would also say there's a couple of college programs, I mean, Vanderbilt and Arkansas are probably the foremost, that are really good at optimizing their pitchers, which, in terms of like their deliveries and strike throwing and the shape of their stuff and also spin rates. So I would in general say like the bigger programs that are really good at stuff are probably more likely to be doing that. But it's also like, all right, this guy's curveball 2,800 RPMs, you draft him, it's 2,650. I'm not sure you're not drafting him because of that. And I don't think anybody knows for sure. I haven't heard anything. I feel like if there were some very egregious violators, I would have heard about it by now. There's not a team or specific player anybody's talking about. So while I wouldn't say that's overblown in terms of people aren't doing it, I don't think it's going to change where guys are drafted.
Hopefully it doesn't, and I just think you're exactly right. This is so baseball. I mean, and everybody who's followed baseball their entire life knows exactly what that means, of them just constantly screwing things up and overcorrecting and just messing with the game itself. But Kiley, we're sitting here in Arkansas, which is mostly Cardinals country, and for a lot of our listeners, they are diehard Cards fans. Is there anybody on the Cardinals draft board that you think fans should be looking for in the future as somebody that can help that team? Definitely, I mean, obviously not going to be this year, but in years to come.
You mean in terms of the draft or in the minor leagues?
In the draft, that they have eyed.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because this top tier of the draft, like I said, is at 6 to 8 guys, and there's some teams picking right behind them where that next tier is mostly agreed upon, another 6 to 8 or so. And then once you get beyond about 15 or so, you're in that third tier, and it's like you could argue for 50 different guys being in that tier. And I think that's where the Cardinals are going to be. And I've heard some sort of chatter about guys who are interested in. I would imagine it'll be a college pitcher from that in that second to third tier area. There's a lot of them. There's Gunnar Hoglund from Ole Miss coming off of Tommy John. Will Bednar, we just saw Mississippi State in the College World Series. Ty Madden at Texas, Jordan Wicks at Kansas State. There's like 5 or 6 guys right in that area. If I had to guess what they end up with, it's probably one of those guys, and they'll probably be, a quicker mover, chance to impact the team within about 2 years.
You can give me a yes or no on this, and then I'll have my last question for you, and we can let you go, Kiley. The incoming freshman reported to campus a few days ago here at Arkansas, and I think in other spots too. Is it safe to say that if these freshmen have reported to campus, then we're not going to hear their names on draft day 1, 2, or 3?
No. So I have actually clarified with Major League Baseball, because I know this happened in the past, but it became more of a conversation point this year, more than in the past. I'm not really sure why. Will Taylor is a huge Clemson dual sport commit that Dabo Swinney has already come out and said will play like option quarterback and slot receiver and is a mid-first round baseball prospect. And Major League Baseball clarified to me and has had to clarify to teams this week that summer classes mean nothing. They don't lose their eligibility until fall classes. And it may indicate either A, they think they're not going to sign, or there's not the right level of interest for them to turn pro, or they just want to play hardball in negotiations. And since we've been talking, I pulled up the list of commits. You mentioned Max Muncy, who I think is the most likely guy to turn pro. Peyton Stovall, high school, probably second baseman in pro ball out of Louisiana, I would say is the other guy that is likely to go in those top 50 to 60 picks. And if he goes there, then he probably turns pro. Pretty much everybody else, and there's some interesting guys on there that I think could be, interesting talent as a freshman. They're all less than 50% chance to sign. So those are the two guys to keep an eye on. So I would say if any of those other guys have early enrolled, I would say they're probably coming to school, but not related to them early enrolling.
Great stuff, Kiley. Appreciate you hopping on with us. I know you're super busy these days. Good luck with everything coming up to the draft, and we'll definitely be reading you on ESPN.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been busy, but I've been at home, so I've been able to smoke some meats. I got some carnitas to get through now.
Good. Good. Well, it's good talking to you. And keep the quotes coming from Nick Saban, because he's always right about that stuff. It's Kiley McDaniel from ESPN.
You guys would love that.
Yeah, exactly. We're tired of hearing Saban all the time. And, names like Braylon Bishop, Hagen Smith, Drake Varnado, Max Solis, Kendall Diggs. These might be players, according to Kiley McDaniel, that are not just going to make it to campus, but will probably be playing for this Arkansas baseball program. It's not gospel when Kiley says it, but the dude definitely knows what he's talking about. 877-377-6963. We are hoping for your votes. What's your favorite ESPN Arkansas show? It's got to be halftime. If not,
has to be.
There's other shows. We'll be right back.
At Ashley Air, keeping your home comfortable is what we do best. We're confident you'll make the right decision when trusting us with your AC cooling needs. For only $69, one of our technicians will make sure your AC cools when it matters the most. Our technicians specialize in keeping AC systems operating at peak capacity 24/7. Call us today so you can enjoy peace of mind knowing you'll stay cool and comfortable all summer.
AshleyAir.com. This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Shed bright LED lights on your project with a 4-foot strip light from Metters Lumber True Value for only $29.99. This 2-lamp light with circular lens has the look of a fluorescent fixture with the efficiency of LED technology. It features 4,200 lumens and a 50,000 hour life. For your convenience, it can be surface, toggle, or chain mounted. Check out this bargain of the month while supplies last at Metters Lumber True Value.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith is your source this summer for backyard fun. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. There's no better way to enjoy family and friends than with your own above-ground pool this summer from Burton Pools and Spas. And they're on sale this month, starting at just $19.99. Come on by Burton's, pick them up, take them home, and save a bundle on above ground pools. Don't miss this opportunity to make the backyard of your dreams a reality. They've got a limited supply available right now. Ask about the full line of Doughboy above ground pools, the best pool on the market, built to last for years of enjoyment by you and your family. Check out Doughboy above ground pools right now and save big at Burton Pools and Spas. They're on 0 Street in Fort Smith and just off I-49 at the 412 exit in Springdale. And you can always see Burton's full lineup online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. They're your source for backyard fun.
Game Time Energy, lifetime experience. Learn more about Buffalo Wild Wings and why it's a great place to work. Apply today at work4wings.com. You'll be working with the hottest brand around and having tons of fun doing it. Welcome to the big time.
Join the winning team at Buffalo Wild Wings. We are hiring. Apply now at work4wings.com. Competitive pay, team member discounts, flexible schedule, insurance options, incentive contests, and much more. Work where every day is game day. Roar!
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! I didn't have to turn my head whenever you walked in. The only one.
0-2 on Robert Moore. Far kicks and deals. Swung on, belted by Moore to right field for the second time today. Robert Moore over the fence into the palmetto trees. A 2-run homer by Robert Moore, his second of the game, his 10th of the year. What a shot by Robert Moore.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
One of the things we love about halftime is it is usually lunchtime, sometime during the 2 hours when you might be listening to us. And you got to go over to Joe's Grill and Cantina today because it is Taco Tuesday.
It's
Taco Tuesday! And on Taco Tuesday, you get your choice. Crispy tacos, beef or chicken, just $1 each. Pork carnita tacos are $2.25. Brisket tacos, pork belly tacos, just $3.25. That's all day long at Joe's Grill and Cantina. You can go to joesfortsmith.com to learn more. They'll have live music tonight. Saturday's live music on the patio. Daily specials right there at joesfortsmith.com. Joe's Grill and Cantina across from Harps. You a taco guy, Drew?
Oh, love me some tacos.
Who isn't? Who isn't? That's like the thing you see on people's back when I used to use a dating app or two.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves coffee, craft beer, and tacos. Those three things. Though not all at the same time. And I don't use the apps anymore either.
Well, that's good.
877-377-6963. I got you and Matty T to keep me company. That's all I need.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So we have a big villain now in France because when you cause a humongous pileup of cyclists in stage one of the Tour de France, and that is like the big national thing there in France. I mean, they've got a good national soccer team, but that's number one cycling country in the world, you know? And so I don't know the name of this lady, and I don't watch the Tour de France or cycling very much, but I will watch. It's like, you know, do you watch NASCAR races for the races or for the wrecks?
The wrecks.
And I'll watch cycling for the wrecks, and she caused one that was
that was
impressive.
epic.
It was epic, especially when it's caused by her own freaking sign.
I mean, bless her heart, though. All she was trying to do was make the whole thing about herself, and then she
was trying to say hi to Grandma and Granddad. That's what she was doing.
Too busy looking at the camera, not realizing that, here's like 80 bicyclists coming up right behind me.
Like, this is so different from Steve Bartman, which to me, like, reminds me of this in a sense. You know, I mean, he affected that game in a way, but he also was not making it about himself. I mean, he was there by himself, listening to the game. He was just reaching for a foul ball, and Moises Alou reached into him at that moment. This is legitimately somebody that was using the television camera for her own purposes. What was the name of the Jumpman? Was it Jumpman, the guy who who parachuted in to the, was it Lennox Lewis of Evander Holyfield, or was it Holyfield-Riddick Bowe?
I don't know of this.
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever heard of the jump man.
This was a heavyweight championship fight in the early to mid 90s, and I think it was Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield. I'd have to look it up, but the fight was interrupted by a parachutist who hit his target. I mean, he landed in the ring, and I mean, chaos, havoc, incredible. And it was one of the weirdest moments you've ever seen in sports.
According
that
to,
also was a
to Google,
guy that was making it about himself.
Yeah, James Miller during the Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield fight. November 6, 1993.
Yeah, the 90s for boxing was a crazy decade, man. I mean, we had parachutists jumping into fights, and we had combatants biting each other's ears off. And it was a really weird decade for boxing. It's no surprise that MMA took over in the early 2000s.
And I pulled the video up of this. They attacked this guy. I mean, and he's all wrapped up in the parachute and everything. It's like, yeah, that was a really risky thing. No, I don't think anybody. So we know nobody attacked this lady, and in fact, we don't even know where she is.
We don't. She is missing. She is on the run. And the problem is that they can't find her. They say that after this all happened, she apparently got back on a plane back to Germany. So, Phil,
where it's much easier to disappear into the ether.
Apparently is. I mean, I thought that we were in the 21st century with cameras, with scent tracking dogs. I thought that we had phone trackers,
mobile positioning,
Interpol, CIA.
I think there are more public cameras out in Europe, Germany or France, than there are here, I think.
I think there are. I mean, if you watch any of the Jason Bourne movies, it feels like there's a camera on every street post, every building in France and throughout Europe. But I think I know who will crack the case, because there's only one Frenchman out there that can solve it, and that is Inspector Jacques Clouseau.
Oh, good. Get the Pink Panther out.
Of course.
So she's really a diamond thief, isn't she?
I guess she is.
Well, she slipped out. The parachute guy. What was the parachute guy's name? What was his nickname?
I thought it was like, his nickname.
They beat the crap out of him the middle. Because if you're jumping into a squared circle, that's a little bit different than sticking a sign into a race path. Anyway, our race path takes us into the second hour of halftime. 877-377-6963. We will be right back.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
They say, trust the process. But if enjoyment isn't part of that process, don't trust the process. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor.
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told you.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
Ramos Roofing is a local roofing company and have over 25 years of experience in the Oklahoma area. Are you looking for a residential or commercial roofing need? Ramos Roofing is the business you can trust. Offering discounts for senior citizens, law enforcement, and healthcare workers. Ramos Roofing can help you with your insurance claim. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home. Call 479-420-9903. That's 479-420-9903 for Ramos Roofing.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of showers and some scattered thunderstorms, especially across the north today. Our high this afternoon will be right around the upper 80s to lower 90s. A slim chance of showers or storms tonight, overnight lows near 70. And then the best chance of showers and storms will be across the north again on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Check out the Hog Talk podcast. Find it on hitthatline.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
Go crazy at Bob Walker. Go nuts.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Your Razorbacks are 2021 SEC champions. And Bob Walker Stadium is an insane asylum.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Back on halftime here in the second hour. And getting into college basketball in 30 minutes with David Cobb from CBS Sports. He's been reporting on this Penny Hardaway, you use the term situation, I guess. It's another college coach that's looking to get out of college right now. And into, I think for some people, and it's not for everybody, but maybe for Penny Hardaway, a more comfortable situation and away from, as you were talking about it yesterday, Drew, pretty deep investigation into recruiting stuff going on at Memphis basketball. And we want to get in with David about stuff involving Eric Musselman. And certainly we got into this yesterday. You know, when you see coaches that are exiting, and let's just stick with basketball right now, college basketball, because of the changes that have already occurred and the ones that are coming into college athletics, name, image, and likeness, transfer portal, and the 1 year and the one, if you want to call it, free transfer now, and the Supreme Court case, NCAA versus Alston from a couple of weeks ago, and the decision that came down, and there's more in the offing. You can understand why some coaches are thinking, well, this is not necessarily what I thought I signed up for when I got into college sports, so I'm either retiring, in the case of Roy Williams and Coach K, and they get their chance to ride off into the sunset. They've already had their legacy set. Or in the case of Penny Hardaway, you know, now you're trying to cement yourself somewhere and get that base to where the head coaching career really solidifies for good. So then there's the opposite thing, which we got into as well, and it's the idea that when Hunter Yurachek hired Eric Musselman, he must have realized it at that moment, though I don't know if Hunter knew exactly the changes that would be occurring in college sports, though I'm sure he had an inkling. He hired the perfect person to run this college basketball program. Maybe really not the best fit at some of the others, but I think at this one there's no doubt about it. The energy of recruiting, the knowledge of how to present your image publicly in a way that's going to come back in a very positive manner. And the dude just knows how to coach, and that, I think, speaks for itself. I want to get into that with David Cobb as well, because I don't really know of another situation, to be quite honest, that I think might be in better hands. Like, you might have better programs right now. You may have other teams, maybe even in the SEC, that end up winning more games the next year or or maybe get to the Final Four ahead of Arkansas. I think Muss will get them there. But this is the right coach at the right school for the right time in college sports.
And that's the main thing that I think is the most important is the timing of it. I mean, we've seen great coaches in the past and it just not be the right time for them and just not be the right fit. And ultimately, it just doesn't work out for them. They got to move on, find their place, find their niche as far as recruiting goes. And I think that's exactly what Eric Musselman has been able to do. The way that he connects with the young people of today is just truly phenomenal, from all the stuff he does with Barstool to the recreation of the iconic NBA pictures with every single different recruit. And one thing that I've noticed, especially having moved here and fully covering Arkansas athletics, is how much of a family atmosphere I think Musselman really puts on it. I can't remember ever seeing so many tweets from parents or reviews about a program or about a coach from parents on social media than I've seen in the last few weeks of this recruiting cycle for Eric Musselman. Is he seems to recruit the entire package, and not just the athlete, but the family, and to really get everybody on board and for what he's trying to sell. And he's done a phenomenal job with it. And and we all know how good he is with the transfer portal. And David Cobb is probably one of the elite experts on the portal. I think that man checks the portal before he has his morning cup of coffee and then checks it 5 seconds later. He's always watching the portal. So he's definitely a great guide for some insight on that. And I just think that Musselman understands where college basketball is going, and instead of trying to fight it like the NCAA is, like a lot of coaches are either publicly or privately, because we know that privately a lot of them probably are upset with the way that things are going. We know that they don't like change, but publicly, obviously, you can't say that. That's just going to ruin any hope at recruiting that you have. I think Muss has accepted it, has figured out a way to recruit that way, and ultimately kind of seems like the playbook a lot of coaches will have to follow is to follow the way that Eric Musselman recruits.
I just think for Muss, there's also no one way to do things, but there is a way that he does things publicly, out in the open, on social media, that these incoming players or any of his current players or really anybody else that's trying to make money on their own NIL in college sports, can learn from. Muss doesn't, as far as I know, make any money based upon any of his tweets or any of the fun stuff that he tweets, but it does do good things for Arkansas basketball, which in turn should get you some better players, and he's already gotten a raise. He got a raise a couple of months ago, and so maybe the way he does present himself publicly has indirectly, or maybe even directly, led to him making more money. For the players, for the incoming student athletes, like this social media presence is one of the major ways you will be able to profit off of that name, image, and likeness, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all these others. And the way that Eric Musselman presents himself and this basketball program is going to help tremendously, because you want to be entertained when it comes to these things. And who was not entertained when you saw the photos of the men's basketball team at the I don't know if it was a karate dojo or a judo dojo or whatever, but it was a dojo, and they had fun calling themselves Cobra Kai. And the photo, the image of 7'3" Connor Vanover ready to kick somebody. And I'll tell you, I've talked about this guy on the show before. We had, with the Travelers, we had the tallest player in the history of baseball, 7'1" pitcher Luc Van Mil.
Wow.
From the Netherlands. He died a couple of years ago. It was tragic. Great guy. Really great guy. But before Luc got into baseball, he practiced judo. You're like, 7'1" judo? Who the heck is going to bring you down? Who's going to take sweep the leg for Connor Vanover?
Did he get into it because of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was in the
that's right.
What's the
Enter the Black? Was he an Enter the Black Dragon?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes, it was. I couldn't remember the title. But
he and Bruce Lee were really good friends. That's right. But that's the kind of fun stuff that I'm talking about. These athletes. Yes, you're going to be able to profit based upon if you're good on the field. That's always going to help. But then there are, is it charms? It's not charm school, but there are ways to present yourself.
quotes influencing. You become an influencer on social media and basically be able to do everything else everybody else is doing, make money, and also still be a college athlete. Because that's where a lot of this stuff kind of comes from athletes around the country who have a big social media come into high school and then out of high school and have to drop all that to keep their eligibility, or ones that built up somewhat of a brand while they were in college and had to drop it all because the NCAA threatened their eligibility.
I wonder if mandatory reading in the program that University of Arkansas Athletics is putting forward to help these student athletes work through the name, image, and likeness and make money. I wonder if mandatory reading would be How to Influence People and Win Friends by Dale Carnegie. Because that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. I mean, and part of it is, yes, success on the field. But also another aspect of this is how you're going to interact with people, whether on social media or in person. If you're going to have to pay money for autographs or something like that, sure, someone's going to pay money for the autograph, but they're also going to leave with the experience that they had with that person for whatever 30 seconds or 1 minute, $20 buys you. So it isn't just I don't think it's just a matter of, well, somebody's great on the field, so they're going to make a ton of money.
Let's put them in front of a car dealership to sign autographs.
They'll make some money, but the ones who are really going to be able to make something off of this are like this pitcher from Virginia, Steven Schock. He's hilarious.
Oh, I've enjoyed his Twitter the last day or so.
He's hilarious on Twitter. That's a guy that I would follow. I'm not going to pay him to follow him, although Twitter says you can do that. But that's the kind of thing I mean. He combined success on the field with, personality that people want to be around and laugh with. So that to me is also what name, image, and likeness is about. 877-377-6963. We do have college basketball talk in a couple of segments with David Cobb. Vote for halftime. We'll update you on all that stuff after this.
Previously on Ruskin and Zach.
This is such a scarcity mindset in Arkansas that instead of feeling good for more than 4 minutes that Dave's the coach of the year, everybody jumped right to, Opitz got screwed. This is such a scarcity mindset. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Everything is a slight. It's so... You can't be the number one team in the country and have a chip on your shoulder. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Check out the Fish City Grill Ruskin and Zach podcast on hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Harry Robinson Salasol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
Fridays is bringing a world of flavor to your table. Come by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith and explore new appetizers and cocktails inspired by Fridays around the world. New appetizers like Wing Around the World and the Potato Skin Passport. Check out our new ultimate cocktails like the Double Berry Mojito. Stop in or order online for convenient curbside pickup at Fridays.com. Come taste a world of flavor at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Whether you are fishing a jetty on the Arkansas River or working around laydowns at Beaver, Washita, or Table Rock, the Heddon Super Spook Jr. is the topwater bait to call up summer bass. The Super Spook Jr. is a smaller version of the world's most famous topwater lure. The Spook is the original walk-the-dog lure and has been tricking big bass for almost 100 years. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere, the Heddon Super Spook Jr.
Evans Body Shop is ready to work for you. Bring us your cars, your trucks, your SUVs, and we will get them back to like-new condition just in time for all of the good times that come with spring and summer. No time to come by for an estimate? Visit our website and utilize our mobile estimating tool. We will keep you updated and informed throughout the repair process, and you can pick up your freshly repaired and detailed vehicle with the peace of mind that our lifetime paint warranty provides. Come by and see us today at 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Frankborough Furniture knows the price of lumber, houses, cars, and gas are going up. We thought you might need a break. For the month of June, Frankborough Furniture is doing no sales tax. You heard right, no sales tax on living room, dining room, and bedroom. American-made furniture, in-store no credit check financing, and service after the sale. Frankborough Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Appliances and electronics excluded.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Long distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. Help me find the party, try to get in touch with me. She could not leave her number, but I know who placed the call.
5 to shoot. Backdoor lob to Justin Smith. Smith throws it down, and the Hogs go up by 6. Set it up out of bounds. They set a screen. Smith slams it home.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, see if do we have a score? Do we have an up? Not a score. This is not a score. This is not Olympics.
It's a running tally.
It's a running tally of the highly scientific ESPN popularity poll sponsored by nobody. And you can get in on it at 877-377-6963. Your favorite ESPN Arkansas program amongst the 3 local programs that air on all 4 stations of the network, and that would be The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach. And are people allowed to vote for a tie for first place? I've seen a couple of these come in. I don't know exactly how you do. BE tried to split it up between a third and 2/3, that sort of thing.
No, and you can't do that.
And
BE, and that's why BE's dead to me now.
He's also already made his choice, so
he's highly special, and even more so than I thought.
He made his bed. Now he's got to lay and sleep in it.
So do we have a running tally? Because this is highly scientific, remember.
And if somebody votes for the other show, I am putting their vote down too. So currently the Morning Rush has 12. Halftime, we're up to 20. Now I do need to point out one of the people on here is Howard Elson.
Yes, a dedicated listener.
But there was never a rule this morning that family members were not allowed to vote.
So
it never said that we couldn't vote for ourselves either.
If Ty's dad wants to call tomorrow morning and vote, that's perfectly fine. Also, we did get one phone submission, and it was from a female named was it Allison on the phone? So
that's our
good.
sex appeal.
And I think that's the only female that has voted in this entire thing. Yeah. So halftime, the show with the most sex appeal in Arkansas, and then Ruskin and Zach currently have 10. So it's halftime 20. Morning Rush 12 and Ruskin and Zach in the last place at 10.
22. We actually just got 2 more votes on the text line that you'll have to add.
Thank you, Brad and Brandon.
The only way that the only thing that makes you eligible for voting for this popularity contest is whether or not you're alive. So that you can have all sorts of family members and friends of said hosts are very welcome to join in. Any dead friends or family members. So here, let's put it this way: my father can vote, my grandma Lil cannot.
No,
it's the best way to put it.
She can't text anymore.
And I'm pretty sure over the weekend, or I'll tell them to wait till Tuesday. But a lot of 901 votes are going to be coming in as I'm going back to Memphis this weekend, and I'll make sure we lock down the other side of the bridge and really lock down Shelby County.
I didn't realize any of our signals reached across to eastern Arkansas.
Well, luckily we have hitthatline.com where everybody can listen no matter where they are.
So this is an unsponsored contest, but we will take sponsorships for burner phones.
Yes.
For the rest of for those hosts that like us to vote for ourselves. Did I just put our strategy out there? I guess I did.
A little
I should
bit.
know better than that.
We've yet to have to do it. So far, I mean, we've got Brad, Brandon, and Jeremiah have just chimed in, and so we're up to 23. So we've yet to have to rely on using burner phones to put in fake votes.
Well, the contest is young, my friend. Know that we're going till next Friday.
This is a long time, isn't it? I mean, we're on the first day of this.
It really is. So yeah, this takes us through this is content through July the 9th, and then we'll see if we can continue that. Like, we got content out of SmackDown losing the chaos at the Cantina for how long, Maddie? 6 months?
I mean, how long has it been since then? Because we're talking about it right now.
That's exactly right. We still get plenty of content out of Ty's poor food choices. So this will last until the end of time. Really happy about that.
Ty did finally see Rocky, so we have to back off that one.
So glad that Drew saw not just Rocky.
I've seen them all.
Had opinions. Seen all of them.
He's got a ranking.
Yeah.
Of all of them.
To figure out sooner or later something to get on him
JP
about.
and Alma, thank you. He just voted for us. We're up to 24.
So one thing I kept hearing whenever you go to and this is just a quick segue here. When you go across college campuses and you go and travel for baseball, travel for basketball, a lot of these baseball parks we go to are pretty small. You'll say, well, you need a new park. Like Tennessee needs a new park desperately. If they're going to keep the level that Tony Vitello has them at right now, they need not just to fully renovate the stadium they have, they probably need to do it over. But you keep hearing there's no room. We can't expand. There's no room to expand.
There really isn't on that campus, though.
We have no land. Well, yeah, it's in the middle of the city. It's in the middle of it's downtown Knoxville, for crying out loud. There's no room to expand at Vanderbilt. Where are you going to expand? There's literally no room. It's one of the genius things that Frank Broyles and Norm DeBryan and all those who dreamed up what Baum-Walker Stadium looks like right now. They built that ballpark where they did. Otherwise, there's no way it would look like that. It's off campus, so it's just down the street, but it keeps getting bigger and more beautiful. And the fact that you had so much land there to build on is the reason. So, there was a point where so many professional franchises and colleges can't necessarily do this because you really need to have a presence that's at least close to your campus. Just ask Pitt football. They play at the Steelers Stadium. Nobody cares about Pitt football, partially because they're just boring, and the other aspect is it just isn't the same going to an NFL stadium when you should probably have more of the college atmosphere around campus. So I look at like what's happening maybe in some other aspects of professional sports now, and it's a reverse. There used to be this move out to the suburbs to build the cookie cutter stadiums that would last you for 30 years for football and baseball. Then there was a movement to come closer downtown and build individual parks. So you just look at what happened in Detroit for an example. The Tigers played at Tiger Stadium all those years. The Lions did too, and the Pistons played at, I think it was at Joe Louis Arena, the same place where the Red Wings played. Then they move all the way out into the suburbs. The Pontiac Silverdome opens. Auburn Hills hosts the Pistons, and then they move back downtown 30 years later. The Cleveland Cavaliers moved from a suburb of Cleveland, Richland, back downtown. And now there might be more of a move out into the suburbs again. If what looks like what might be happening with the Chicago Bears does happen, they're going to be one of those teams that's named for a city in which they play in the suburbs. And really, like, the thought of the Bears playing anywhere other than Soldier Field is just south of the thought of the Packers playing anywhere other than Lambeau Field. It just feels weird to be trying to build something that's not right there in Chicago. But I'd forgotten it's the smallest stadium in the NFL.
Yeah, it is
for a city and a fan base like that. It makes sense if you want to build out.
Only holds, I think, about 62,000, I believe, which is definitely, I think, about 10,000 smaller than normal. Now, obviously, NFL stadiums don't get as big as some of the SEC stadiums that hold 100 plus or north of 90, but 60 for that big of a city just ain't gonna cut it. But it's so historic. I mean, Soldier Field, the wind off the lake. I mean, just everything about it just screams NFL football because it's an original stadium. Well, I mean, they built it right after they basically, after the NFL kind of started, they played in Wrigley for a few years, and then it's been Soldier Field for so long that
but it was also renovated. Like wasn't it 10 years ago? It
not
looked like
too
a
much
spaceship.
longer. Yeah, I think it's still a historic and great place to play, but especially with the controversy of ownership of the Huskies and who's going to be running that team, and apparently the own fan base isn't 100% against it, as the Daily Herald of Chicago put out a poll not too long ago and said two-thirds of Chicago area residents are in favor of the Bears relocating, and they'd be relocating to the suburbs of Arlington Heights, which I believe is an hour's drive or an hours and a half train ride from where Soldier Field currently sits in Chicago. So it's not that bad. I don't know how bad Chicago traffic is. Will it be the same type of complaints that we've seen out of San Francisco 49ers fans when they moved not too long ago to Santa Clara and trying to get across the bridge and trying to get there and having to drive almost 2-3 hours back due to traffic to get back to San Francisco?
Yeah. Well, look, the Atlanta Braves did this recently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about a stadium that essentially was completely rebuilt, like 10 or 15 years ago. I forget the exact year that Soldier Field was rebuilt. You know, the Braves moved out of Turner Field to a suburban location in Cobb County. It's not even Atlanta.
No,
and they did it with a brand new ballpark that was built 25 years after the old ballpark opened, which was the Olympic Stadium. And you know, you see the Rangers doing the same thing, moving out of a stadium at 25 years old and right next door so they can build a roof. New amenities, and in this case, it's not that you're changing your fan base, but you may be making it a little bit easier to get there, and by building a bigger stadium, man, it just turns into more money for the team.
Yeah, it
too.
does.
All right, we got to move on because we're talking college basketball with David Cobb after the break. Halftime brought to you by Wheels RV in Springdale. Make sure you're getting out and enjoy everything the Natural State has to offer in a brand new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Wheels RV in Springdale. Plus the lifetime warranty and mobile service shuttle keeps you camping. It's Wheels RV, best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas, 5 miles west off I-49. Seek, explore, discover Wheels RV.
It's time for the largest music festival in the River Valley, the Peacemaker Music Festival, featuring Cody Johnson, Paul Cauthen, Muscadine Bloodline, Colby Cooper, and many more. The Peacemaker Music Festival, July 30th and 31st. For tickets and more info, visit peacemakerfest.com. Let's do this, Peacemakers!
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you in need of roofing repairs or maybe more? Construction Master Roofing, who has been under new management since 2019 with over 25 years of experience, is who you need to call. Estimates are free, and military, first responders, and medical workers receive 5% off. Construction Master Roofing guarantees their work, and the number you need to call is 648-8888 in the River Valley, and in Oklahoma, call 918-859-4714. Construction Master Roofing, the roofing company that cares and gets the job done.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Randy Milam in Alma or Brad Howe in Van Buren about Shelter's home insurance.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
I've never been scared to stay by myself, but we've been talking, and as much as the kids are at home alone and John's out of town on business, we thought it was time for a security system. Guardtronic came out and walked through our home for a free estimate. He pointed out a couple of ideas I hadn't thought of. The licensed technicians were really knowledgeable and courteous. They explained exactly how to use our system. Now I understand how Guardtronic has been in business for over 60 years. Give Guardtronic a call today, 800-542-7866. That's 800-542-7866.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Mason cut off left elbow, skip past right side, Slocum with 3 to shoot. Takes it to the baseline behind the back, shoots it from the short corner. Swish for Destiny Slocum right at the shot clock buzzer.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. B-Dubs, wings, beer, sports. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Good to bring David Cobb on with us on Halftime here. He's a writer at CBS Sports covering college basketball, college football. Knows plenty about the SEC, and we bring him on here today on Halftime. We'll get into what's going on in the situation with Penny Hardaway, name, image, and likeness, Eric Musselman, and anything else David thinks might work here for college basketball. David, how's your day going?
Hey, going all right, fellas. Appreciate y'all having me on. Good to catch up with Drew again, just a few hours to the west of his old stomping ground. But yeah, hope you guys are doing all right.
Yeah, and just like 3.5 hours to the west is a basketball program that is not worried about losing their head coach, who is a favorite son for that Memphis Tigers basketball program, and certainly one of the more recognizable head coaches, I think, in the game right now. And interviewing with the Orlando Magic, it's obviously very serious. What do you think Penny's chances are of getting that job in Orlando?
Yeah, I'll say I used to cover the NBA, and having been a beat writer for the Grizzlies, actually, when they were going through a coaching search a couple of years ago, I definitely think it's it needs to be noted that these things can drag on for quite a while. Those of us who have been raised in the SEC footprint, we're used to coaching searches being conducted with the utmost haste due to signing days and upcoming practices and things of that nature. There's not quite as much pressure in that regard in the NBA. So, this thing could drag on for a little bit. And if you really dig into it, it seems like they've interviewed or will interview, several candidates. So, I don't mean to diminish Penny's candidacy. I think if you're a Tennessee or a Memphis fan, you're taking this really, really seriously, and you should be nervous. But I don't get the sense that we're at the finish line on this thing per se. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Memphis basketball because, Thursday, July 1 is the deadline to enter the portal and be eligible immediately. And so if he were to take the job after that deadline, it might actually help their roster for next season because those guys would more or less be trapped at Memphis, the players on the current roster.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. This is so much different than, the rumors that always get thrown around following football season. Dan Mullen is interested in the NFL. Pat Fitzgerald is interested in the NFL. We hear this on and on again, but nobody that we've known, we've never been confirmed there's been a job interview like this, which is in such a public manner. And how do you how do you have a basketball program that's trying to recruit and deal with transferring players and all of that when your head coach is publicly out there looking not just for another job, but at a different level of the sport?
Yeah, well, I think, okay, so from Penny's standpoint, if it doesn't end up happening and he remains the Memphis coach, he'll be able to spin it in a way that all the Memphis media and the fans just, slurp it up and say, oh, yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Penny. Like, you raised the profile of our program by reminding the world that you were coveted by the NBA. Like, that'll work for a little bit.
And that's what they'll do.
Yeah, Drew knows. But let's fast forward. Say that happens. Fast forward to the end of next February. If that team's on the bubble and struggling again in year 4 to make the NCAA tournament for the first time under Penny, then I think you might see the fans start to use this against him and say, well, Penny knew he couldn't get the job done. That's why he was trying to go to the Magic, or we wish he'd gone to the Magic. And so I think in the short term, if he stays, I think he'll be able to spin this in a way that kind of covers his bases in the short term with prospects, with the current roster, with the fan base. But in the long run, I think this is something that could kind of be used against him if his tenure doesn't start taking, a turn for the better at Memphis.
Yeah, David, it always feels like throughout Penny Hardaway's entire tenure at the University of Memphis, it's been one roller coaster ride after another, one up, one straight down, a loop-de-loop thrown in there as well. Why hasn't there ever been a calming feeling around Penny Hardaway, and now you throw this wrench into the mix? It just always feels like maybe not one foot out the door, but the other shoe's about to drop. Something else is going to eventually happen. Why hasn't there been any stability there?
Well, if you really think about it, the shortcomings there are shortcomings that were predictable. The thing that we all believed Penny would be good at, that he has been good at, is drumming up excitement and recruiting. He's done a good job in both of those regards. And in many ways, he succeeded because those are some of the things that they hired him to do. His shortcomings and where the instability that you mentioned, where that comes in, is with, the inability to quickly adapt to the modern college game. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was coaching AAU in middle school basketball and high school basketball for many years. Somebody who was not actively involved in the college game. So we saw this past season, it took him until the middle of year 3 to really get comfortable with an offensive system. And then the other part of the instability and that feeling you mentioned, Drew, is obviously the uncertainty over the looming IARP decision that's about to come down on the program at some point over the James Wiseman snafu and the alleged improprieties that were involved in his recruitment. And so, that's obviously kind of a cloud that remains hovering over the program that really nobody knows how to interpret, just because that committee has yet to make a ruling of any kind on any of its several cases that it has pending.
Now, Cobb, while I could obviously sit here and talk Memphis basketball and from the Memphis perspective of this situation with you all day, most people out here in ESPN Arkansas land kind of want to hear it from the SEC and Arkansas perspective. So for coaches like Eric Musselman, who has been killing it recruiting, you know how well he's done out of the transfer portal during his tenure here at Arkansas. How should they view the situation and the turmoil going on, not only just with Penny, but with the exits of Roy Williams, Coach K, and honestly, there's probably going to be a few more. Should Musselman and some other SEC coaches feel like sharks that can finally smell some blood in the water?
Yeah, I mean, from a regional standpoint, an opportunity maybe to break into Memphis a little more with the instability around the Memphis program. No doubt, there's never a shortage of talent in Memphis. Obviously, though, his deal is the portal, and he's a magician of the portal. I wrote a story last year about his formula, and I kind of predicted the Sweet 16 appearance. Just a quick brag there, but no, I think it's an opportunity for them to continue to kind of just cap, like you said. There is a changing guard right now in college basketball, and more so than just Penny at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's Roy Williams, Coach K. A lot of the ACC coaches beyond those two are getting on up there in years. And now you're seeing the rest of the SEC trying to play catch up to what Arkansas has done so well by going all in on the portal. The portal's kind of been my thing this off season, and you see Auburn really making some hay in the portal. You see the SEC in general doing a really, really nice job in the portal and the transfer game. I still think Arkansas, to be honest, though, probably is the leader in terms of identifying and bringing in talent via the transfer portal, and that's because Musselman's perfected that formula over a number of years. Dating back to the beginning of his time at Nevada before transferring was so prevalent. So, this is a new era, a new frontier in college basketball. And if you listen behind the scenes, one of the things that you hear in relation to Memphis is that Penny kind of gets a little weary of the grind, I guess, that's required of the portal era, and how your recruiting doesn't stop at signing day. And obviously, this is somebody who was not involved in the college game prior to becoming a head coach. And so, if coaches are out there kind of having that feeling, that positions Eric Musselman well to continue to thrive, because he's no stranger to the transfer game. It's the game he's been playing for years now.
Well, and I think the word grind is thrown around too often sometimes, but not in the case that you just did, David, because it's obvious that Eric Musselman is all about the grind in every aspect of what you need to do as a head coach at a highly noticeable and visible college basketball program. And so I feel like Hunter Yurachek, when he hired Muss, I don't know if he knew exactly the direction that that college athletics was going in, but based on his, let's just say it, mastery of the transfer portal, the way that he projects himself publicly on social media and every other way, the way that he's got the ability to adjust his style based upon the players that he has. Can you name another college basketball head coach that is positioned better to handle the changes in the sport that he coaches than Eric Musselman?
I think Scott Drew is right there too. Scott Drew and Kelvin Sampson, both in the Final Four this past season, were relying pretty heavily on transfers. So those two have done a really good job of kind of getting ahead of the curve and embracing what a lot of coaches are now being forced to embrace. And so I think they're well positioned to continue to be successful as well. And that's why I thought it was almost laughable back during this coaching change cycle when people were trying to get Scott Drew to Duke or Scott Drew to Indiana. Why? And honestly, Musselman's name was brought up in some of that stuff as well. And I get it. Muss has not historically been a guy who's stuck around in one job for a terribly long time. But at the same time, these guys are building something pretty solid where they are. And just because the programs that they're at are not your historical blue bloods doesn't mean that they can't be a modern blue blood in this new age of college athletics that we're entering with the prevalence of transferring and the availability of things such as name, image, and likeness. So I just think that, I just kind of thought that was strange, because to me, I see a new class sort of emerging, where guys are building their own thing in certain places and aren't going to just go all in on the resources of a historical place like a North Carolina or an Indiana or a Duke or a Kentucky just because of the name. I mean, in this era, I think you are perfectly capable of building something sustainable and championship worthy at a place that maybe doesn't have that historical pedigree.
Cobb, you brought up the NIL, and that obviously starts on Thursday. How long does it take for the money to get rolling in? I mean, does it start on Thursday? Guys start signing deals, start making some money off of social media, or is this going to take some time to build up and for guys to really explore and figure out how it works?
Yeah, I think the latter. I just think that everybody's in such a scramble mode right now with trying to figure out what the rules are, and if there are rules at all. who's governing the rules if they do exist. I mean, there's just still so many gray areas and uncertainties that I think it's going to take compliance departments a little while to give guys the green light on some of these things they want to do, just because the universities are going to be tripping all over themselves to try to figure out what's permissible and what's not, because this is so unfamiliar, so uncharted, and the NCAA is so terribly positioned to oversee any of it. And so it's going to be a mix. I mean, obviously we saw like yesterday the Wisconsin quarterback, Graham Mertz, he's releasing his brand and teasing whatever it is he's going to do, but I guess some of the things that you'll definitely see right out of the gate are, guys being able to sign autographs for money, guys being able to promote some products on their social media, things like that. But it's a new frontier, and it's going to take a long time to really figure out, how it works. And not only the standpoint of the athletes, but if you're a business, you have to kind of evaluate the potential reward of partnering with a college athlete here. I mean, this is something that has not been done before. So, if you're a product or something you're trying to promote, you kind of got to go through, your channels to figure out, hey, what would this person's stamp of approval on our product mean to us? And so I think there will be a lot of companies and businesses that are slow to wade into those waters. But as they do, I think there will be plenty of opportunities out there for athletes.
David, we got to run. Appreciate your time and your thoughts on this. We'd definitely love to visit again once we come closer to college basketball season. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, David.
You got it. That's David Cobb from CBS Sports on college basketball. An idea here. How does this sound? Kevin Kopps wants you to vote for halftime for your favorite ESPN Arkansas program. Name, image, and likeness can get you to vote for your favorite show on this very station. I guess I have to ask Kevin whether or not it would be okay to say that officially on this show. So give us a couple of days for name, image, and likeness to happen, and we'll get right to it.
We got till Thursday till it goes in effect anyways.
Might as well vote before we get his approval anyway at 877-377-6963. Get off my lawn to wrap up the show right after this.
Game Time Energy, lifetime experience. Learn more about Buffalo Wild Wings and why it's a great place to work. Apply today at work4wings.com. You'll be working with the hottest brand around and having tons of fun doing it. Welcome to the big time.
Join the winning team at Buffalo Wild Wings. We are hiring. Apply now at work4wings.com. Competitive pay, team member discounts, flexible schedule, insurance options, incentive contests, and much more. Work where every day is game day. Roar!
Attention, attention. Do you have a fifth wheel, travel trailer, or motorhome that you don't get to use as often as you want? Well, Breeden RV has a solution. Breeden RV wants to buy your RV. Due to the historic events that have happened over the past year, RVs are in high demand, and Breeden RV will pay you top dollar for yours. So push it, pull it, or drag it.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This song might make you feel cool, but it perfectly describes a fool. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road and gonna ride till I can't no more, and can't nobody tell me nothing. This path will only lead you to God's wrath, because the Bible says the wicked refuse discipline and treat his words like trash. What good is a nice beat when you're headed down the wrong street? I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab.
ServiceMasterPC.com.
You've probably heard that Pinnacle Telecom is now Dobson Fiber, a new name, but you'll be working with the same great people you've come to know all these years. Dobson was founded over 85 years ago and believes in investing in the communities it serves. Dobson Fiber provides you with the same upload and download speeds on the most reliable network found anywhere. And yes, you'll receive 24/7 technical support. Fast, reliable, local. It's time to experience a Dobson connection.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with the flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday. River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City!
Jefferson off play action, going to throw deep again, got a man. Burks at the 25, complete. He's going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas. KJ put a little air underneath it, and the Razorbacks are a PAT away from tying.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Roar!
All right, just a few minutes left here on halftime. Don't forget you can get your votes in, your favorite ESPN Arkansas program at 877-377-6963. We'll vote for halftime. Why would you tell the names?
Of course, you got to vote for halftime. It's the only show worth voting for.
We're the only local show on this station right now anyway, so I don't know what the other two shows call themselves. Now you can vote for Morning Rush, you can vote for Halftime, you can vote for Ruskin and Zach, and we will love you either way. Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you, Justin and Van Buren, for the vote.
Yes, we're currently, the score is Halftime has 31 votes, Morning Rush has 12, and RNZ have 10.
Halftime is brought to you by Riley Farm Dental at 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A. Also, Highway 71, Riley Farms. Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan serving to give patients better lives with comfortable experiences. All dental procedures provided, including braces, implants, cosmetics, and they'll make you very comfortable. The moment you walk in, you'll notice you're part of the Riley Farm Dental family. More information at RileyFarmDental.com, 226-3500. They're voted top 3 best of the best every year, 4 years running. I got a couple of calls to get to here before we end the show. And first up here on Halftime, Stanley. Hi, Stanley. You're on Halftime. What's up?
Yes, sir. I've got 3 baseball questions. The first
All right, let's
one
go
is
one at a time. First one.
the tapping on the helmet when they go by second base. The second one is, I'm recently retired. I'm trying to catch up on these rules. Can the catcher still talk to the batter like we used to in the old days? And the third one is the throw out on first base. Say Opus, the foul tip on the third strike. Does it depend on the person, if there's a person on first base, or what? And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
First base has to be unoccupied for that to happen. Mm-hmm. The tap at second base, I don't exactly know what you're getting at. And what was the other one? 3 questions is difficult to remember sometimes. What was the other question that he asked?
Let see.
Can catchers talk to hitters? I'm sure you can. Yeah. Go ahead. Talk as much smack as you want. I don't think the umpire will say no thank you, because the umpires will talk to them too sometimes. So there you go. And again, I don't know what tapping meant at second base.
Is the catcher allowed to whisper insults about the batter's mother?
He's allowed to. He might get a bat to the face, though.
Well, Jake in Major League was saying things about whatever dude's wife's name was, when he popped up and said, "Oh, Rexy, I don't think that one's going to make the distance." And if it happened in the movie Major League, then I'm sure it's 100% real.
That's based on a true story.
All right, let's end this thing with "Get Off My Lawn."
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. How dare you? How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity.
You're talking like a song from The Lion King. Stop that. It makes no sense.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
This is ridiculous.
I'm calling my supervisor.
You're not going to amount to jack squat.
Get off my lawn.
I want to remind people that, some relationships don't really last very long. You know this song by Ben Folds, 5, Song for the Dumped? You're going to want to.
No, I haven't heard it.
You're going to want to play this song anytime you used postdates.co. You've heard of Postmates to deliver whatever it is you want to deliver? Postdates.co is a real service operating in New York and Los Angeles that will help you get back your stuff from your ex after your breakup. This is a legit thing. It doesn't work in Arkansas yet. We get things after the coasts. Postdates.co. Look it up. It's a real thing. Get your stuff back. Go ahead, Drew.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. You can't just be civil and call them up and be like, hey, can I get this back? Or you know what? It's a loss. You just lose it. Go buy a new one. That's just stupid. Have some huevos and be able to go over there and get your stuff back. But for my get off my lawn, and it happens every playoff series, regardless of what sport. The absolute flipping of switch of fans, of media members, and today's flipping of switch is on Ty Lue and Paul George after they beat the Suns in Game 5 to avoid the gentleman's sweep. Now, apparently, according to a lot of people today, Ty Lue is the best coach of all time, and everyone keeps referring to when he, air quotes, coached the Cavaliers back from 3-1 to beat the Warriors in 2016, when we all know that was LeBron, not Ty Lue, and nobody gave him credit then, and to say that he gets credit for it now is utterly stupid. Paul George is still Paul George. Yes, he had a great game. He had 41 points last night, but did we already forget about the 2 missed free throws in Game 2 that they lost the game? And everybody was telling me how he's not a superstar and how he's not an elite athlete. He's not a household type of guy in the NBA. But now that he puts up 41 3 games later, and to avoid a embarrassing 4-1 loss in the Western Conference Finals, he's now all of a sudden Michael Jordan. I get sick and tired of the flip-floppiness of so many people. You can't have it both ways. Pick one side and get off my lawn.
I like how the anger built up throughout your diatribe there. That's what's supposed to happen on a Get Off My Lawn. That was well done, Drew.
Thank you.
Very well done. Now, get off my lawn if you think it's easy to break up with somebody and go get your stuff back, because it ain't.
No.
It ain't. Sometimes you just don't want to look at their stupid face, and that includes your own when you look in the mirror.
Mm.
Don't forget to vote for Halftime. We are your favorite show.
We're up to 35 votes.
And counting. The burner phones are coming up next week. For Matty T, from Drew, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, get better.
These days we Google everything, but the practical advice about painting comes from the paint store in Van Buren. For 33 years we have worked with professionals as well as homeowners to share the best tips and techniques. Richards Paint, made in USA. Wooster Rollers, made in USA. Corona Brushes, made in USA. We want nothing more than to share our knowledge to help you achieve the best paint job. Friendly, expert, professional. The paint store in Van Buren.
At Detail Shine 99, located on Jenny Lind, right across from Ramsey Junior High, they do it